Hello, everybody. It is Tuesday, June the 2nd, and I just want to take a minute to talk about what is on the council agenda for tomorrow night. Normally, we don't have a meeting the first Wednesday night. It's normally the second Wednesday night, but we made an adjustment way back last year when we thought we'd be going to a Lake Simcoe Foundation fundraiser next Wednesday. So we decided just to leave it the way it was so as to try not to confuse people. So I'd really like it if we could get more public participation in our council meetings. I know we get quite a few people who watch us on live stream, and thank you for that. But it would be great if we could get some more and get some more of you to give us input. So you can read the agenda. It's posted on our website a week before the council meeting, and then you have an opportunity to participate. So even though we're doing our meetings virtual right now, that doesn't mean we can't have virtual participation as well. So you can request a delegation, or you can request to speak to us at open forum. We just need a bit of advance notice. You need to let the clerk's office know the Monday at end of day, the week of the council meeting. So if the council meeting is Wednesday, by Monday night, if you could let council or staff know that you're interested in participating, and then they will give you instruction on how you can do that. The other way is if you really don't want to appear on camera or speak in person, you can simply send us an email to the clerk's office. They will make sure that it's distributed to every member of council prior to the meeting, so we have the opportunity to get your point of view before we debate and make a decision on an item. Or you can just watch. So we'd be happy to have you do that as well and see what debate goes into making a final decision and maybe why we landed where we did. So all of the reports come with a staff recommendation, and then it's up to council to either amend that recommendation or vote in favor of it, vote against it, change it. That's evolves through the discussion at the table for the most part. So on the agenda this week, we're going to be getting a presentation from Ms. Carrie Warner, who is working on our community's safety and well-being plan that is being led by South Simcoe Police. Every municipality in Ontario, through provincial legislation, is required to have one of these plans. The whole idea being that we should be more proactive in preventing crime versus reactive in catching criminals. And so we'll be getting an update on where they are in that process. Then there's a bunch of committee reports coming out, and thank you to all of you who do volunteer to sit on some of our many committees that work to do some of the legwork for council. So this week it's the Heritage Committee, the Innisfil Beach Park Ad Hoc Committee, the School Zone and Traffic Safety Committee, and also the new Helping Hands Committee that is helping with small grants for residents in need due to the COVID pandemic. Then we've got a couple of big staff reports, and some that I think are going to take a lot of discussion and a lot of make some hard choices. The first one is the final tax levy bylaw, which you know, we did not receive the amount of support that we were, the revenues that we would normally get with the casino closed down, and also with no revenue coming in from, say, user fees. And because we have made some financial relief to you, so that also reduces our revenue. But we were able to stay at the percentage that we had said that we would in 2020. And we will be discussing further financial relief for residents that need it and how we would go about that. I will tell you at this point that there was an announcement yesterday from the Prime Minister about some relief or some funding for municipalities across Canada. Unfortunately, it wasn't new money. It's money that we had already anticipated and budgeted for. It's called gas tax money, and we traditionally always get that money every year. We knew we were getting it. What the Prime Minister is doing is giving it to us in an accelerated fashion, so we'll get it earlier, but still hoping with his language, I think he said this was a first step, so still hoping we might see some financial relief for all municipalities across the country. As you know, municipalities cannot run deficits, so we must have balanced books by the end of the year. So we'll be having a good discussion about where we're going to go in 2021 and 2022 and how we get there. So the staff report looks at what we would have to do in order to get to a 0% blended tax rate, property tax rate for 2021, and a 1% blended tax rate for 2022. And why do I say blended? It's because your property taxes is made up of a bunch of pieces. There's the piece that goes to the town to run town operations. There's also a piece that goes to police, to the county of Simcoe to do what they have to do. And then a chunk of it also goes back to the province for education. So percentage-wise, on a regular residential house, an average residential house, and an average residential tax bill, 42% of that is what the town and your council makes decisions on. The other pieces of it, the 14% for the police is decided by the Police Services Board. The 27% by the county is county council. And of course, the 17% goes back for education. If you are a commercial property owner, 50% of the property taxes that you give us, we collect and turn around and give right back to the province for education. So that's a big chunk of it. And the town of Innisfil really only has control over 26% of the commercial property tax bill. The reason I'm telling you all this is because if we want to get to a 0 blended rate, that means the town rate has to actually be below 0 because we have no control over where the other portions of that bill might go. So what does that mean? That means we're going to have to make some really difficult decisions as far as what we do, the level of service that we do. So this is where your help would be really gratefully appreciated on what you think is an essential service, what you believe we absolutely need to do, and probably in most cases what we're legislated to do, but what is a nice to have but not a must have for you. If you could help us through that process, it would very much make our job easier, and we need to get as much consultation and engagement from our community as we can, because it is not going to be easy times over the next few years. We know that, and we want to make it as easy as we can for you, and that means we're really going to have to roll up our sleeves and figure out ways that we can do things smarter and do things cheaper or less expensive. There'll be another couple of staff reports we'll talk about. So Big Bay Point Road End park improvements, and also we'll get an update on a town square project at the library. So you're probably wondering now, why are they spending money on parks when it's, you know, during times like this? And why wouldn't you take that money from parks and put it, say, to roads or somewhere else where it's more needed? That comes into something called development charges. So development charges is an amount of money that a developer pays when they build a home, because growth should pay for growth, right? You and I shouldn't be paying for the growth that's happening in our community. It should come from the people that are coming in and using those services that we provide. The Development Charges Act is a very prescriptive piece of legislation from the province of Ontario, and you have to calculate how much development charges you're going to charge and which pocket it goes into. So when new house is built, a piece, so much goes into fire, so much goes into libraries, so much goes into parks, so much goes into roads, and it's all divvied up into these little reserves. What we cannot do is we are not allowed to take the development charge money out of the parks account and put it in the fire account or in the road account. We're not allowed to move them around. We have to spend money collected on parks development charges on parks. So that's why sometimes people ask me, you know, what do you do if fixing up a park when my road has potholes in it? Well, that is why we have very little choice about that money has to be directed into the service for what it was collected for. So I hope that clears things up. I hope you can join us, if not this Wednesday night, some of our council meetings, always on the YouTube channel, and hopefully sometime soon back in person. And I'd like you to all please be well, stay safe, and we'll talk tomorrow.